Someone asked before, about my dimensions of this box, whether, why I chose them. And you can see that it pretty closely replicates the sort of volume of a natural hive. This is a big one, so we're not going to get it all in. But the heavier the timber, the worse it is as an insulator. It's a bit counterintuitive, but that's the case. So if you think of the best insulating materials, they're extremely light materials. Styrofoam is an excellent insulator and it weighs almost nothing because it's all about trapping air in pockets. That's what makes good insulators. And the lighter the pine, the lighter the timber, the more air pockets it's got in it. And the other thing about hardwood is it's just really hard to work. Making a box like this, and it warps and it bends and it bleeds tannins, and but pine's and it's cheaper. Pine's cheaper. Hardwood's very durable. It lasts, forever. But apart from that, it doesn't really have a lot of desirable characteristics.
Will you put a styrofoam top over that?
Nope.
You won't?
I don't bother.
So can you use plywood?
Yeah, plywood's fairly dense actually.
Won't last long.
It's a bit high.
Marine ply, you could.
Yeah, marine ply.
Yeah, that's what I got on mine. Top and bottom, one that I saved.
Tim, you said you painted those. Have you used a particular sort of paint?
Oh, just acrylic. That's a bit high now.
And why yellow? Why not pink or purple or green?
Well, I used to use white. White's the best colour for hot conditions because it reflects the most heat, but it just looked grubby after a while. So this is just helps to disguise some of the dirt. Tends to collect on them.
Some hives have a perspex top, they're like a viewing top.
Yeah, now I don't, even though that's great because people love to be able to look inside their boxes. Two cracks like this all the way around that they have to seal up and defend in a very short time. So by only having one, they can do that sealing and defending more quickly.
Richard was using 3 and I just wondered that...
Somebody asked about the perspex, whatever it's called.
Yeah, perspex. Yep.
Perspex.
So some people, when they build their boxes, put a observation perspex layer in them, and
Otherwise there's no way of, not that you need to I suppose, but it would be interesting to watch what's happening.
yeah, it would.
Is there a
They wouldn't
downside
like
to
that though, would they?
There is a downside.
Okay.
I believe there is.
Would that be beneficial to tape that joint?
I often do tape the joint. I could tape it today. I've got tape here for that purpose. I use clear tape. Anyone like to suggest why I use clear tape?
See whether you've used the ceramic or the bitumen to seal it off.
It's not really that. You can't
So you
really
can
see from the outside.
So they can see from the inside the light coming through.
That's right.
Yep.
So if they can see the light coming through, then they'll seal it from the inside. So it stimulates them to seal up that cracker more quickly. So I don't think it's all that important to seal up, and part of the reason is that these boxes have been made by a professional carpenter who makes very sure that that surface is completely flat, so that they come together very nicely. And you virtually, the gap is less than 1 millimetre, which they can seal up very quickly. But just to complete the demonstration, I will, because I'm sure it doesn't do any harm, pop a bit of tape around there, and that will help may help to keep something out.
So when people buy a hive, it'll be virtually just like that.
Do me a favour, Peter, just try and find that. Thanks very much. When you buy, you can imagine how delicate that hive is now, and the slightest bump's going to.
Yeah, I mean, I should have said the box. The box.
So that's what I call.
Look like.
That's what I call a breeding hive, just the two halves, which is perfect for splitting, but not very good for getting honey out of. So perfect for splitting or for transferring a colony into to start with. When you buy, thanks very much. When you buy a box, you can just buy a breeding hive like that. What we call an oath, an original Australian Trigona hive. This is the basic design, or one with a honey super on it as well, which we call a honey hive. Yeah, and I use these for the transfers, but for the rest of the demonstrations today, we'll be using honey hives.
So
what do you buy
people
when
want
you buy one?
A honey hive.
A honey hive.
For pollination.
Yep.
Just for pollen, that box is quite sufficient.
It is certainly sufficient. I recommend honey hives for all situations because the extra level on top seems to provide good insulation.
Where would you mount that now?
Well, I'll show you.
Where's Helen? Helen, you want to try some of the honey?
Yeah, do you want to
Helen, there, try some of it.
explain why you've got the base, the two pieces on the top and the bottom of that box?
Oh, okay. Now this piece here, all right, there to stop slumping. You were here when I held this up and I was looking for the hive slumping.
Yep.
Sometimes the top, this is upside down now. I'm going to turn it upside down for what its current position is, back into its original position.
Yep.
In a minute. And if that is not, if there's any evidence of it slumping, then if it slumps, it'll fall into the bottom of the box and it'll die. You can imagine all the weight of the honey and pollen above that comb will crush it and kill it.
Yep.
So these bars are to prevent that slumping in future. So if you can imagine this one now, it'll grow up, the brood will grow between those two bars, and the pollen will grow around it. Next time I go to split it, it'll be all supported by those two bars. Okay, that's what those bars are for. Now your other question was this.
Yep.
This is to stop the brood chamber coming any higher. So you've seen those pictures of the brood chamber and the diagrams, and you can see it here now. We've got a very discrete brood chamber that they rear the young inside in these layers. Clearly the brood chamber can't come beyond that piece of plate there. The bees can still move around it, which means that they will only use this top section for storage, not for brood rearing.
Oh, okay.
So you can come along in 12 months' time, when they've filled it all up, crack the top off and extract honey out of here without doing any damage to the brood. Because as you can see, I mean, that went pretty well today and there was minimal damage really, but it is still pretty drastic, procedure really, splitting their world apart like that. So you don't want to do it just to extract honey. And you can see there's not it's not really ideal for trying to get around there to extract honey anyway. A lot of people are disappointed with, they love the idea of being able to unscrew this top bit of timber, take it off and then just look through a piece of perspex at the bees underneath. And you can do that. There's no reason why you can't. Well, there is a reason why you can't. You can do it, but and looking down through perspex all the time, first of all, they cover up the perspex regularly. So it only works for a few months anyway. Maybe you might get a year.
You'd have another box on top of that, and then you take that box off and you put perspex there.